Hello, Canada. We are here at the 10th annual Canadian Music Cafe during the Toronto International Film Festival. I'm here with music agent Matt Safran from Core Music Agency. Hi, Matt.
Hi, very pleased to be here.
Now, how is this music cafe for you this year? What did it entail for your line of business?
I have to start by saying I absolutely love this event. Every year it brings together amazing artists on stage, as well as music supervisors and composers, directors and producers who are interested in music and how music fits into their project, up and coming composers. It just brings this community together so well and connects us in an environment where we're not just enjoying ourselves and watching bands, but everyone in the audience is considering how that band can fit into a film or television project, how film and television music works, and as an industry, we all get together and help each other, and we all give each other a hand up. And I think why this event is 10 years successful and will definitely be another 10 years and 10 years beyond that successful.
That's just awesome, and I can tell by your speaking about this that you love your work and that you're exactly where you want to be. Does it ever feel like more work than the joy? What aspects of this industry are much more nitty-gritty than obviously this stuff? When does it get really challenging and stop feeling like you're a teenager going, whoa, I'm here?
Well, I always still have in the back of my head that I'm 18 and I'm just having fun making TV and making films, and we're listening to songs and we're attending parties. When it gets dirty is when the actual work needs to get done, and when, God forbid, if there's problems, and when there's issues of creative differences, and when there's issues of scheduling differences, and a lot of, often more television than film, but film as well, often creates schedule issues that are, we need this, mixed here and delivered there, and or lock picture there and mixed there, and there just isn't enough time there to get what they need done. Or often producers who don't understand exactly what the costs are going to be, so what they're hoping to get is a giant live orchestral sound, but they don't really have the budget for that, and so there's a real conflict between what we can have and what we can afford. And especially in the Canadian industry, the conflict, not just with composing, but also music supervision, the conflict between what we want versus what we can afford is a constant in this industry.
Of course, and when you're coming from even the television, the network side of things, or the feature films, the executive producers, everyone has to do their best job at doing their best job, which means a lot of probably different numbers and opinions and ideas of what that looks like are on the table. Meanwhile, there's probably a creative sitting there needing to get to work to have it done by a certain date and time, which may inevitably change.
Exactly. And eventually the words, can we possibly push the mix, comes into play, and that's often how a problem is solved, is just we need, or can we possibly get more money? And generally, yeah, either a little bit of time or a little bit more money, or a little combo of the two, can solve pretty much any problem in the film industry. But the question is, especially again back in our Canadian industry, which is not, we're successful and we're good, but we are not on the highest budget. Certainly, we're not LA where everything is in the 7 and 8 and 9 figures all the time. So budgets is always the back of the head concern for everybody in this business.
So as an agent, you and Core Music Agency are responsible to help being an advocate for the composers you represent and helping them get not only into the films but also manage sort of those variables. Is that correct?
That is what we do. We find our clients' work. We are looking for projects pretty much all the time, either at events like this where we're talking to producers, or other TIFF events where we're talking to producers, or more often getting on the phone and getting on the internet and getting on email and making friends all over and finding out, not just well, I have a composer and he's good or she's good and this would fit there, but more, we have 42 artists on our roster right now, so it's a matter of who would be a good fit, who do I have in the roster who I think creatively works with this project. Often in Canada especially, there's a provincial requirement of who works on this project because they need a tax credit for it. Sometimes it's not even a provincial requirement, it's more just a location thing. We're going to be posting this in Winnipeg. Do you have a Winnipeg-based composer? Because convenience sake says that we'd like all our posts to be in the same city. So yeah, that's really it. Is a large part is just figuring out who needs music, who needs original music elements, and who within our roster would be able to do a really good job at that. And fortunately, because we have such a large and diverse roster, there's generally someone, or usually more than a few someones in the roster who fits all of the check marks. And then it's just a matter of getting the producers and the director and the creative the elements in the production side to agree with my obviously correct assessment.
So we have a lot of filmmakers and people from across the Canadian film industry and the music industry who watch our First Weekend Club interviews. From the filmmaker's side of things, if there was an indie filmmaker who really wanted to do it the right way and get organized with a composer and really learn about that side of things as they're growing into their film career, which obviously when they're getting bigger and bigger projects, especially the ones that start coming to them, I'm guessing it would be an asset to really understand how to work with composers so that they can create the best film possible. What do you do to support that process for a filmmaker?
What do I do personally?
And core agency.
Music agency, at that point, we hope that we don't have a whole lot to do at that point, because really it's a matter at that point of often director or a few of the other creative elements, sometimes producers, and the composer working together to make that creative package and make that musical package sound the way they want it to. So often, unless there's a problem, I'm out of the loop at that point, and I'm happy to be out of the loop at that point because it's creative people talking to creative people. Right. If it becomes a problem, then the producers get involved and the agents get involved, and then we talk to each other and we try and find a way to make the creative people work well together. And every once in a while, there is no way of making it work well together. It was we chose this composer because we thought he or she was the right fit, and we're just not finding the fit is there, and we're going to move on to another option. And as terrible as that sounds, it happens, and that's how that ultimately gets resolved, unfortunately, is if there's no way of settling that conflict or getting the creative juices to all flow in the same direction, then we'll go another direction and find someone else, which is unfortunate, but it happens.
That happens in every industry. But in terms of having creative success, CORE has had such creative success recently, and you've expanded your properties into new territories. For the Canadian film fans out there, can you name a few of the bigger, or any of the projects? You've won a lot of awards, but films that we would know.
Mark Corvin is a local Toronto composer, and he scored The Witch, which was an amazing big breakout hit at Sundance. We have had Steve London and Todor Kobakov scored Born to be Blue, which I think premiered here a few years ago. Was that a TIFF premiere?
It was a TIFF and also Whistler Film Festival.
That was it. Television-wise, the Fish Fry guys have been doing border security for years, and it doesn't look like it's ever going away. Who else do we have? See, now you put me on the spot. I should have a list here in front of me.
We'll put a link to some of CORE's notables, but you've done very well at the Canadian Screen Awards and around, and CORE is certainly known to be a champion for the filmmakers and has a large presence at all the festivals usually, and also up in Whistler at the Whistler Film Festival around the Music Cafe and the composers competition. You guys are really, really involved.
We like to be really involved as well. Like, I think a large part of it is that my background comes as a music supervisor and as an agent, but Ari Wise, who owns the CORE Music Agency, his background is as a composer. And so I think between him and me, we sort of have all of the ends of the music for film and television industry, like that little niche. We've covered all of the pieces of it. Like, I've been a song plugger as well, so like we've covered all of the angles, so we know what it's like to sit in that chair always. And so as much as, the primary focus obviously is looking care of our clients and making sure that the composers themselves are taken care of, but at the same time I want to make sure everyone's happy. I like it when everyone's happy, and especially we work in a Canadian industry. We're, I think, a lot nicer than especially the American industry is a lot of the time. We play nice together a lot of the time, and I don't want anyone unhappy. I like it better when everyone is a winner. And if everyone's a winner, then everyone's happy. And so that's generally...
It's also a great song.
Well, it's not exactly like a mission statement for the company or anything, but I think it's just sort of in the back of our head. That's just the way we work. Is let's keep everyone happy and keep everyone working, and low stress, low conflict, no conflict if we're lucky. Although that's never going to happen in any life, but it'd be nice. Everybody plays nicely and everybody's happy.
And then we all end up at a film festival together, like TIFF, seeing these incredible films made by incredible Canadian filmmakers, scored by local homegrown talent, and then at an event like the Canadian Music Cafe where we can celebrate all these creative industries together.
Poutine.
Oh, is that what you
Oh, smoked meat poutine. You gotta love that.
Thank you so much, Matt. Congratulations on all your work. And can people reach out to you if they have questions about emerging filmmakers? If they have questions about that process, are you guys accessible?
Yeah, absolutely. All of my contact information is on our website, www.coremusicagency.com. Core Music, CORE Music Agency, all one word, .com. Reach out to me anytime. I love talking about music for film and TV. I'm generally happy to give advice to directors and producers. Often it's a question of, can we do this or will we get sued? And unfortunately the answer usually is, don't do that or you will get sued. But I'm always happy to answer the question and give advice and help people along through the somewhat murky, not quite music industry, not quite film industry, sort of somewhere in between, and that's where I sit. So I'm happy to help people guide them through my murky waters if they need it.
It's a joy to be sitting here with you, and thanks again for all you do and all Ari and what CORE does for the Canadian film and TV industry.
And thanks to the First Weekend Club.
Well, the First Weekend Club is a club, so it's nothing without you and all of us. We're firstweekendclub.ca to find out everything you need to know about Canadian films and when you can see them. Thanks.
Are we clear? Good. I've been holding
Party time.
I've been holding this fart for 3 minutes now.